Hello, Fight Insight fans, viewers, and listeners. I'm the Filipino podcasting machine, Princey D, and with me, as always, Timmy B. On today's podcast, we are thrilled to interview a UFC fighter who has, within a very short period of time, created one of the best podcasts on the market today. We recap Mayweather versus Paul, preview UFC 263, pick our fighters for our weekly fight on site, and a whole lot more. Tim, hit it!
Yeah, it's Timmy B, Princey D, Fight Insight. Yeah, that's right.
All right, our guest today is an 8-fight UFC veteran in the women's bantamweight and flyweight divisions. In December of 2020, she underwent spinal surgery and is currently on her way to recovery, with her sights set on a return to the cage in late 2021. She's also the host of the Sex and Violence podcast, where she interviews guests for her naughty listeners, fusing MMA with TMI. Ladies and gentlemen, from Santa Ana, California, please welcome Rebel Girl, Ashlee Evans-Smith.
Ashlee! What?
Dang, I'm so appreciative of all your graphics now that I'm in the podcasting game. I'm like, good job, guys. This is good. This is good stuff.
Hey, Ashlee, how did you like the intro, the music piece? How did you like that?
I liked it. That little rap about both you guys. Who did that?
That was me. I did that. Tim didn't even know about it. I came in and Timmy, I got a surprise for you. And he was like, what? Was that you? And I had my boy actually come in. We actually recorded. And I got really into it. And they're like, Prince, you're trash, but we can edit some of your stuff. So that was the 2 seconds that was any good. So there you go.
It's awesome. It's fit. It's quick. It's to the point. You know, it says your name. So it's perfect.
Yeah. I love Ashlee already because, you know, there's no way that if you looked at the two of us, you really had to ask who was the rapper of the two, but I appreciate it anyway. So thank you. And we do have a new graphic to go for our background. Ashlee, this is the first time we'll reveal this, but ta-da!
Oh,
fancy. Nice. Yeah.
Now listen, Ashlee, it's not as good as yours, all right? So listen, I actually got, like, the camera that I'm using right now. I got to give it back to one of my titas. She needs it for her podcast, Cooking with Tito Bachingchong, a podcast dropping every Thursday. So I mean, we're trying our best over here, Ashlee. We're trying our very best, okay?
Are you Filipino?
I'm Filipino, that's it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. My favorite Filipino is Mark Munoz.
Hey!
Yeah, we just had him on last week.
Oh, did you?
We had him on last week because he was promoting his movie Olympia 2.
Oh,
and he was so awesome.
Boy. Oh, yeah. With Danny Trejo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We went on a tour to the Middle East together, and he showed me that. And, you know, he's an old coach of mine, but what a great freaking guy.
Yeah,
like,
he's super nice.
Solid. Actually, Ashlee, do you know a lot of Filipinos, though?
Not really, to be honest. When I was amateur up in Northern California, I got to train at the same gym as Nonito Donaire, and very, very kind, very sweet. I got to move around with him, which is him just like pawing me, you know. I still, you know, I'm a grappler, but like back then I really didn't know crap. And he's one of my favorites, you know. And then I came down to Orange County, met Mark, so I like Filipinos. Filipinos are great.
Okay, congratulations. You're a Christian Filipino. So I'm going to start calling you Ate Ashlee. So Ate Ashlee, thank you for coming today.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. Ashlee, when we did the intro, we said that your podcast, Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl, is like literally one of the best podcasts right now in the market. No doubt. I'm not kidding. Tell us. And normally we don't like get mad at our guests, but I do have to get a little bit mad at you because during your podcast, you'll often say, well, I'm just a fighter, but you are not just a fighter because this podcast is really, really good. So can you tell us, like, how did that whole thing get started?
Yeah. I still can't believe I'm doing it sometimes, but I love it. And the way it got started, I had the idea months and months before I actually pulled the trigger. And actually, I was hesitant because in today's society, it's very quick to cancel. If you say the wrong thing, the wrong pronoun, the wrong anything, you know, whether you have good intentions in mind, you're canceled, right? And I'm very, you know, part of me doesn't care what people think, but then the other part, I don't want people to think that I'm, not including people. So it took me a long time to pull the trigger, because at the end of the day, I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, which is ironic, kind of, just because it's such an edgy podcast. Yeah. But, I pulled the trigger during the pandemic. I could no longer make any more excuses. I had the time, the resources became available to me. The right people came into my life. The studio and my sound engineer, I couldn't do it without them. That's DJ Zoll and Tomorrow Kids Studio. And we've been making podcasts for about a year now, a little over a year. And it's been a struggle, a learning process, probably like you guys. You didn't go to school for it. No one showed you how to do it. It was one of those things where you have to learn on the fly. I'm still learning. I aspire to have these nice visuals like you do, but it's been fun. And I hope that financially, maybe I can get some more sponsors, because it's hard. Podcasting is hard. And at the end of the day, if it's not, making money, it don't make sense, right?
Ashlee, what do you expect, man? Tim's works insurance and I'm a nurse. So we're trying to make it out, right? So
are you really a nurse?
I am. That's a thing. Like, if you're Filipino and you're male, I was gonna ask. That's why I was asking you if you knew a lot of Filipinos, because I'm Filipino and I'm male. What do you think what my job is? And nurses, it's like I'm a statistic, man. I've always wanted to be a rapper, man. I'm telling you, like, I wanted to really go to UFC, but I just tapped out too early. That's the thing. But Ashlee, what I wanted to mention too is that watching your podcast, guys, I just want to say this for all our viewers out there. If you guys haven't seen your podcast, your swag, your fashion sense, wow, through the roof. There was one podcast, yeah. So first you had the black glasses, and then you had the red glasses, you had suspenders and your jacket. I was looking through, I was like, man, look, who picks out your outfit? Do you pick out your own outfit, or is that's all you? That's all you, eh?
I definitely don't have a daily outfit coordinator. What do you even call that? Fashion person. It's all me. I guess to toot my own horn, but I create the show, I write this show, I write the segments, I book the guests, I market, I have some amazing people now actually making graphics for me, and he has his own podcast. It's Air Media and Productions. His name's Nick Corey. He's in Amsterdam, so he's now helping me out with graphics. But for a long time there, it was just all me, whether the outfit, hair, I've got some amazing people helping me now do video, trying to get that under control. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I respect you guys and all other podcasters who are doing the damn thing and putting legit time and energy into it, and, trying to get sponsors. I have so much respect for you guys now.
No. So Ashlee, would you just go through your closet and say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to pick this on? Because every podcast I see, like, there was one where you were rocking this jean jacket vest. I'm like, where did she get that? She didn't get that at Amazon.
I have a lot of clothes that I made myself. It's the punk rock lifestyle community culture is a lot of DIY, do it yourself. In my heart, I'll always be the little girl that I grew up. So I also grew up with not a lot of money. So if I get a hole in something, I'll just sew it myself and keep it. I got a lot of clothes because I'm a hoarder with my clothes. So, it's kind of cool. It falls into that punk rocky vibe if it has a hole and I fixed it. But it's all me. It's all my style. It's just who I am.
Wow, that's amazing, Ashlee. You know what? You know what? Just because you're coming on, and I didn't feel like we just have all these company uniforms. I felt like rocking one of these things. It's called I made it myself. It's called a Daishik Chic. It's a new swag that I got. Tim, I thought of this myself. So as you can see, I'm the goofball in this podcast. So it's made with 100% rat fur, 100%.
It's extremely hard to move this thing along, Ashlee. It's crazy. We normally get like one question out of the way, and then the time is up. But I can't believe you do it all yourself, because I read somewhere that you had like an idea to go into journalism at some point.
Yeah. So long story short, wrestled in high school, got a scholarship, went to the Bay Area, Menlo College, got my basically went there to wrestle. Was a 4-time All-American wrestler in college at Menlo College. But while I was there, I obtained a mass comm, journalism degree, media studies. In my head for a little while there, I thought I wanted to be an investigative journalist. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I graduated in 2009 during the recession. and there was no jobs, not even internships. And then I just fell into MMA. But for a long time there, you know, I was the editor of my college newspaper for my junior and senior year. No one told me that newspaper was a dying medium. So, you know,
nobody knew.
Yeah, well, no one told me, and but in the end, I end up using that degree because I'm now using all that wrestling experience from college in the UFC and my fight career. So, but yeah, for a long time, I wanted to be a journalist, and it's funny how things have kind of come full circle, I guess.
But it's crazy though. And then, I mean, you say like, you know, you were wrestling in the high school team when you were wrestling on the boys team.
Yeah.
And then you go to Menlo College and you hook up, you meet your best friend, Carla Esparza, right? So how cool is that? I mean, and how crazy is it that the two of you then become UFC stars?
You know, that school has had a few, sorry to cut you off. You know, just shout out Danny Castillo, who was the first person from Menlo College. I'm forgetting Josh Emmett. You know, I think, you know, Carla, me, Josh Emmett. I'm probably forgetting one more person. I think Cody Gibson might have fought once in the UFC. But yeah, Ryan Benoit, babyface Ryan Benoit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like it's a small private college, but it's produced a lot of UFC fighters.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And congratulations to your best friend too, Carla. That last win, disgusting, like brutal knockout or brutal KO. And she's got to get that title shot, right? I mean, honestly, that is Cinderella story for her to get that title back from Rose. Like, how crazy will that be?
She surprised me at how good she did that fight. You know, I'm always preparing myself to watch my friend take a couple punches, but I'm like, you were unscathed. Like, awesome. Could you always do that so that my heart doesn't pop out of my chest, please?
But she ruined that new Venom shirt because it was just pure blood everywhere. I was like, oh man, that was such a nice white shirt, and it's gone now. Like, waste, garbage.
And that's the thing. Whenever you're watching your friends fight, it's almost like you almost want to go and jump in there. You're like, come on, let's go. You know what I mean? You're like swinging in the air. You're throwing things around, and like, you know what I mean? So
if I got the same amount of nervous during my own fight, I would be like frozen, you know. You know, I don't. When it's yourself, you are in control. You know what's happening. When you're not, it's the worst feeling in the world, honestly.
Yeah.
That's crazy. On your podcast, for people that don't know, now we've been promoting your podcast, maybe more than our own at some point, but we were telling people, you got to watch your podcast. Your podcast, they do get risque, right? So for some people watching, maybe, you know, you might want to stick to like the Sam Alvey one, Sam Alvey was our very first ever UFC guest on this podcast. Oh, really? So yeah, and him on your podcast was hilarious. It was it was a beautiful love story about him and his wife, which was crazy.
Yes.
But then you can go way to the other end, like your last guest was Mogwai, and hers was pretty crazy. But so just for the fans, you do have the lightning sex round that you ask. You ask a lot of interesting questions. You have a F, Marry, Kill segment that you do every podcast, which is great. What was how did you get into the idea for this kind of podcast? Because it's one thing to do a podcast, but you have such a great niche and such a great, like a hook, right? Because it's got that little risque element. And I can't believe some of the fighters that they'll talk to you about this stuff. So how did you think up this idea?
So, you know, I've done an interview with Bloody Elbow, and they used a quote, and I'm like, well, I just sound kind of slutty in that quote, but whatever. But basically, you know, I was trying to tell them that, like, you know, who doesn't enjoy sex? If you say you don't enjoy sex, it's probably because you're not having it, you know. But you know, I mean, everybody loves sex. Not everybody is able to talk about it, and that's okay. But a lot of great things happen when you do talk about it. Yeah, we get some giggles, but my favorite quote that I always go back to is, shame dies when stories are told in safe places. So you could be going through something, right? Maybe a sexual experience or an embarrassing moment or something you just don't talk about. And then you hear a story and you're like, oh, I'm not alone. And so maybe you laugh together, you cry together, you realize you're not alone. There's so many things that can happen with podcasting. Podcasting is amazing. So why not talk about things like sex or relationships or dating or love or romance, or these things that, everybody likes, but we don't talk about them. And I know the type of personality I have, I've been told by others that I have an ability to make you feel comfortable opening up. And I don't know how I got that way. And I don't know if it's like that for everybody, but it's seemed to work out on the podcast. I guess, what would you say, that motivation to talk about that stuff mixed with my network that I have, gained and established over the years of fighting, people I've fought on the same card with, referees, backstage people, I'm a cut women, and I've just made friends over the years. And I'm not saying like everyone's my friend. I'm sure, I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay. But there's a lot of people that I am close with, and it's something I'm familiar with since wrestling, leading the way, right? Kind of like being the first woman to do something, or do something that's, not, in society standards. Girls shouldn't wrestle. Oh, girls shouldn't get punched in the face. People shouldn't talk about sex. Like, these are things that I've been doing since I could do stuff. And I knew I had the personality, the network, and I just didn't know if people were going to react to it. But I just said, F it. I don't know if it was a children's show.
Yeah, you know what it is, Ashley, because like you're natural. Even when you're watching the podcast and you're asking the question, it's just like it just flows. Sometimes when you're about to ask a really like tough question, you're like, "Do you like sex?" How often? But you go in deep, like you're asking. I mean, you're asking like really like TMI questions. They're in there and they're like, okay, are we live? Okay, are we gonna, you know what I mean? So I mean, to me, it just comes so natural, right? Just like, even I guess maybe with fighting as well, it's almost just like it just comes, it's like survival kind of mode too, right?
I don't know. I think life has got me to this point. I did do a little bit of theater in high school. I did more in college. I studied journalism. I did interviews. I test, I'm not saying I'm a movie star, but I'm saying these little things, having to be in front of the camera, having to talk, having to write, they've all created this personality that's easy to project, whether it's on the camera or through typing, whatever it is. And, I thought, why not combine some of my strongest attributes and interests into one thing? And I originally started it with the mindset that this is not going to make any money, but at least I'll have something to put on my resume. Like, I always kind of dreamed like Dana White will be watching, I need a new commentator who is good on the mic. Well, pull up some Ashlee Evans-Smith. I highly doubt that's going to happen.
No, hold on, Ashley. That is going to happen. I even have that written down. Okay. That has to be one of your potential futures out of this, right? Because again, like Prince is saying, you're such a natural, you're developing your talent on the mic, right? Which we don't get always to see from fighters, right? And frankly, I do find it weird, some of the fighters that they choose to go behind the desk, because really? I'm like, I don't know. Some of them do not have the charisma, or do not seem to have like the ability to articulate their questions or their thoughts. Yeah. But I see this as a potential. Is that something you would want to do?
I feel like I may be shooting myself in the foot a little bit. The UFC and a lot of other organizations, I know it's MMA. I know it's a blood sport, whatever you want to say. But I know that they might not want to pull me from a sex podcast and put me into, in front of the spotlight, because they're maybe trying to make it more wholesome, like Reebok and Venom. It's more like making it more of a uniform sport, like NBA or, NFL or whatever, right? So they may be like, oof, she's a little too edgy. We're trying to get away from that vibe. But I would in a heartbeat. You know, I love this sport. I love the UFC. I've been with them since 2014. I have made a lot of friends in the industry and a lot of friends in the UFC. I would take that job in a heartbeat. Is it in the cards? I don't know, but I'm going to keep doing me. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep podcasting, and, closed mouths don't get fed. That's something I've learned this pandemic year a lot, especially with the podcast, asking for things. You're not going to get something if you don't ask. So maybe I should be more vocal.
Yeah. Hey, friends, I never in a million years when we started this would think that we'd be talking to Ashlee Evans-Smith.
Right. And well, actually, you know what? I'm going to make my prediction, and I'm really good with predictions. UFC is going to come up to you. So this is what's going to happen. UFC is going to come up to you. They're going to be like, they're going to offer you the commentator job. You're going to get on. You're going to be a hit. Everyone's going to love you. Then they're going to start to see the fashion sense. They're like, whoa. And then all of a sudden, Ashlee starts throwing a fashion line. Oh, right. And everybody's like, oh, okay, watch out this T-shirt here. Nice, swags over there, and it blows up. That is what's going to happen. Commentator / fashion line. That's what's going to pop off in the next couple of years. You never know, right? That's a thing. It's that, we're looking for, everyone's rocking the suits, everyone in the tie. Like, oh man, it's nice to see somebody in there with, with like a curveball, switch it up a little bit, right? So yeah, actually, I think it's going to happen, honestly, hands down. And when it does happen, you heard it here first.
Okay, right. Yeah. We'll make a remix,
Yeah, right. There you go.
Talking about the fighting, Ashlee, unfortunately, you had some surgery, but if you follow Ashlee on her Instagram, and we'll put all the links both to your podcast and Instagram down on our YouTube, you are currently back in training, back in rehab. And so can you say, like, how is that going?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, part of my podcast, I always interview guests, but I call it like the Ash update, where it's like a little blurb about what's going on in my life. So yeah, I'm making a podcast, but I feel like I'm also kind of strengthening my brand a little bit. I'm putting my personal life out there, every little detail, if you listen to the podcast. And I tell everybody all the time, like, the update, and the update right now, as of today, is PT is going well. I am cleared to do striking. I can hit the bag. I can hit the mitts. I am not cleared to grapple. Now, we all know that's a big part of MMA. So, if you say, when are you going to fight? I don't know, when I can wrestle again, So I'm on track. It's just the first injury that I've ever had. Legit one. I've never had surgery, hopefully never have to get another one. But in, 15, however long I've been fighting, a long time now, even wrestling, never had to have surgery. First surgery, spine surgery. So I'm not familiar with recovery and rehab, and I'm trying to be patient, but I just want to fight. I just want to be my full self 100%. And it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle for sure, because it's a long process. They said 9 to 11 months would be the recovery time. I feel like we're getting closer to that every day. I mean, obviously.
It's the way time works, actually.
Yeah,
but that's okay.
Yeah. But I feel like it's right around the corner sometimes. I feel like my time is running out. I am turning 34 next month, and I feel like I'm old for a fighter. So there's a sense of urgency because of this injury, because I was out for a while, because of the pandemic. Stuff happens, and I want to get in there when I'm ready, but also soon. So it's a fine line, right? Like, we need protection against ourselves a lot of the time, because we are too tough for our own good. And if you have people around you that love you, then they hopefully will say, yo, bro, chill. There's plenty of time. So
yeah. But Ashlee, like, low key, do you ever like pass by like a punching bag and throw a quick combo, like 1, 2, 3, okay, yeah, I'm good, just to pass the time, like, oh god, no one's looking, I might as well throw a combo here and there, right? Do you ever do that?
You know what I do?
Like, we're online, Ashlee, just to remind you, we're on air, just in case you're going against doctor's orders, right?
Every morning when I wake up, when you got that like tight ab situation going on, and then you have breakfast, and it's like, you're like, okay. Well, I always like wake up, and I'm like, usually my sports bra or something, and I'm like, I'll just like shadow box in the mirror. I'm like, yeah, and I go in the shower. Like every day, I'm like, throw some elbows in there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Still got it.
Still got it.
Nice. Good. I don't want to keep you too long, Ashlee, but I did want to ask at one point if you had a fight that you were looking towards. Like, is there anybody on your hit list in the cage? And as it relates to your podcast, is there anyone on your hit list outside of the cage?
Gosh, is it bad podcast etiquette to to release a guest before they're on? Because like things could change. Like I don't know. Like, am I allowed to say who's coming on?
Ashlee, who cares, man? Whatever we do it. Whatever. You know what I mean?
We've been saying you were coming on before you even talked to you, so it's fine.
Okay.
We're changing the whole cancel culture. It's it's a re-cancel. That's what we're gonna promote.
You're also way overestimating our audience, Ashlee. So don't worry about it. Go ahead, say whatever you want.
I guess the hit list. I had some on my hit list, and that's what I'm talking about when I say what I've learned doing this podcast in this pandemic year and whatever is closed mouths don't get fed, especially not to bring the, gender into it, but I feel like women don't ask for enough. I feel like men have no problem asking for stuff and they get it. And women, we don't think we're going to get it, so we don't ask for it. And this pandemic, I've slid into people's DMs to ask them to be a guest. I've slid into sponsors' emails, asking them to sponsor, all these things. And 8 out of 10 times, I get what I asked for. And I'm like, why don't I ask for stuff more often? So I wanted to have Joey Diaz on my podcast. He said yes. He's going to come be on the podcast in the future. Next week's guest is the amazing Brad Williams, comedian. I don't know if you're familiar with his comedy. These guests they have Netflix specials. They're like, Joey Diaz is like an idol of mine. He's
big time.
He's a guy who's been through shit and turned his life around and then made it work for him and told his story so that other people can laugh and learn and whatever. And that's what I would like to be someday. So I am checking off my own hit list all the time, and I'm surprising myself and surprising maybe how much I've underestimated like the UFC clout. I don't know, that blue check mark maybe, who knows, but I'm getting a lot of the things that I try for this last year. I'm very, very excited and grateful. And then as far as fighting goes, I know my place. Like, I'm a veteran and I put my time in, but at the same time, I'm coming off a 2-fight losing streak, which sucks. But I'm grateful to be in the UFC. So if they say you got to fight this girl, I'll fight that girl. I don't feel like I'm in a position to be calling the shots, but whoever I fight, I will be making my return. It's not going to be you don't want to take me as a comeback fight after a spine surgery and, time to, I've never been this sober this long. I'm very vocal with sobriety. I think more people should talk about their sobriety and hold themselves accountable if that's what they want to do. That's what I'm doing with my life. So, I wouldn't want to fight me as a comeback fight. I'm bringing a whole new mindset to the cage, a whole new body, and
hold on, Ashlee, if you listen to her podcast, you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah, whole new body. But I'm happy too, and I'll as long as I can get back in that fucking cage, I don't care. I'm grateful, I'm ready, and I'm excited.
Nice.
Oh,
that's so exciting.
I feel. Oh man, I'm excited. Actually, I wonder. Can you body slam somebody in the UFC for once? Like, I want to see somebody get body slammed, like legs all the way up and just suplex or something like that.
You can dump someone, you can carry them off. I think the only thing is you're not allowed to spike them on their head.
Yeah,
that's it.
Okay, you know what? When you next fight, if you can develop a move, your own special move, and just promote it, and then we'll have it on the podcast, and then you unveil it during your next fight, and it'll be the knockout of the year. If you had to pick a special move that you'd probably throw at somebody, what would it be?
Oh, special move. So something I haven't been able to do in a fight yet excuse me. Oh. But I do it a lot when I wrestle, especially like you know, you have MMA grappling, MMA sparring, and then like sometimes you just wrestle, right? I do it a lot when I just wrestle, but like high crotch, like to like lifting, like a high lift, and like I have really good hips, and I can pop up my opponent like basically like flying through the air. That's something I would love to implement in my next fight. But if you saw Cyborg's last fight against Leslie Smith and that fucking suplex that she did,
yeah,
crazy.
Bucket list move. Like, you know, you want to suplex someone on their dome. That's what you want to do.
Yeah. Actually, if you could do that, like on top of one of the cages, like you jumped off the cage and suplex someone at the same time. Oh my gosh, and knock somebody out. Like, yeah, we'll throw in money for that bonus for sure.
We're gonna throw in money.
Yeah, for sure.
Prince always promises my money away. I don't know what's happening.
Hey, that's teamwork makes the dream work, baby. That's how it works, baby. That's how we do it in here.
Ashlee, before we let you go, we do have a couple of fan questions. Are you okay to stick around just for a little bit? All right. So first fan question. Thank you to everybody for sending them in. First one is from one of our previous guests, Robbie Moss Fitness. He asks, and similar to what we were just saying, but what would be the ideal way to finish your return fight? And I think because I was talking to him and I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, well, does she want a TKO? Does she want to go 3 rounds to see if she can go the distance? Like, what would be your ideal way to finish the fight?
I mean, I used to always say that I like when my fights go 3 rounds because that gives you more footage to go back, pick apart, and improve on, right? But I'm getting older. Ain't nobody got time for that. I want to get in there, get a quick knockout, get a quick sub, and go home and put my feet up. So, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, battles and brawls. I also have never had like a super bloody fight. I got a little bloody when I fought Raquel Pennington, like it was her blood, but like there's also like a sadistic side of me that's like, I want to have a bloody fight. But at the end of the day, let's face it, I just want a W. I don't care if I come from behind. I don't care if I knock her out in the first 10 seconds, you know, like getting my hand raised is the ultimate redemption. You know, I've been through a lot this last year, the surgeries, the losses, fucking all the shit that the pandemic put everybody through, right? As a world, we went through it together. And just getting my hand raised feels like it's worth it. You know, like everything that we go through, me sticking around and putting my body and my mind and my heart and my financial status through this career, getting your hand raised is like, everything's worth it. So it doesn't matter. I just want the win.
Don't worry, Ashlee. We'll tell Robbie knockout via suplex. Just tell Robbie that. Okay, knockout via suplex.
At the Fight Forum asks, what is the strangest DM you've ever received from a fan or fellow fighter?
Ooh. Okay, so now that I have that podcast Instagram, I run the podcast Instagram. Like I knew it was gonna be like opening the floodgates to the fucking
weirdos,
you know, like those are my fans. But you know,
Ashlee's in there like this. Oh jeez.
I'm not shocked by anything anymore. You know, like a dick pic used to be like, oh God, but now it's like, that's all you got, really?
Another one?
You know, and it's like the foot questions and all of that. It's just, it's nothing shocks me anymore. Like maybe this is like bad for my mentality. Maybe this podcast is like corrupting me even more so than I was, but I'm not shocked by anything. And if I had to say the weirdest thing, it's definitely the guys that want to pay for your used items. Now, it doesn't have to be your intimates, but the shoes and the socks, I think that's the most, like, that's what you want? Like, that does it for you?
Like, what can you get? Like, what could you get for your socks? Like, do they make an offer? Like, how much are they?
They can offer $500 for some. Yeah.
Ashlee, just quit your job now.
Ashlee, here, send this one. They won't, how will they know? They won't know. They won't know. Like, here, just take this.
I think, like, the only reason like I have not done that is like I don't want to be labeled as like Ashlee the sock seller.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm good, but like there are definitely some people, and I try not to kink shame, because my podcast is all about, being inclusive and accepting, and, whatever does it for you, does it for you. But some people, I don't even mind the requests. It's the people that are rude about it, So, and there can be rude people out there.
Oh, yeah,
Ashlee, now I can picture you going, oh guys, so we've got another dick pic. Send this to the dick folder. We got this to the feet folder, please. Thank you. Up in the sock folder here. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not that organized.
This makes me even more amazed that we got through to Ashlee, Prince. Last fan question. Actually, I wanted to know this too, from Jackson Curry, again, one of our buddies. Have you ever done the lightning sex round yourself?
No. So people, occasionally ask, especially for the 1 year episode 52, we ended up having, yeah. You guys listen. I didn't know who I wanted. I was really shooting for Joey Diaz. He ended up shooting a movie, so, he couldn't do it at that time. And then I thought Gregor was, like, I feel like I connected with that guy on another level just because the wrestling and the sobriety stuff. But great episode. But I thought for a second to like interview myself somehow, but I feel like I'm going to use that as a teaser for like at least another year, So like maybe on the 104th episode, be that. But no, I do talk about sex, and if a guest asks me something personal, I'll answer. But you gotta listen to the podcast. Even my little tidbits in my Ash update in the beginning, like if I go to Vegas, I'll talk about having sex with my boyfriend a lot. If I, if we get a new sex toy, I'll talk about the sex toy on there. So it's a sex podcast. It's sex, MMA, and everything in between.
Yeah, no, you do like I said before, you do a very good job of balancing it out. I will say for the people that are like a little bit iffy about that aspect of it, I would say, listen to the Sam Alvey one, listen to the Alan Jobin one. There's if you find some of the more UFC fighters, you might get like some of the lesser ones, but no, it goes the whole gamut. It's a great podcast. Ashlee, before we let you go, I did create the Fight Insight light, and I'm not going to do a lightning sex round because that's not our thing, but we're going to do the lightning like round.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. How old were you for your first kiss?
Oh, probably like 11.
Do you celebrate Valentine's Day?
Yes.
Would you rather give or receive gifts?
Receive. Damn, greedy.
You're going on a date, scary movie, romantic movie?
Scary movie.
Chocolate or candy?
Chocolate. That girl.
Double date or just you and your boyfriend?
Me and my boyfriend.
And last question, this is my most risque that I could think of. Tongue kiss, no tongue kiss?
Tongue kiss.
Ooh, I stumped her, Prince, though. You see that? These are not bad questions.
Actually, you see, this is a rated PG podcast. You see how like rated PG that bad boy was compared to yours? Because I mean, one of the guests you had, you're like, oh, how do you like your sex? And you're like, I like getting licked in the butt. And everyone's like, whoa, what? Right?
Yeah, I like to tell people, and obviously I'm like tooting my own horn by even using this comparison, but I'm like, think of somewhere between Joe Rogan and Howard Stern, and they're like, what? And I'm like, kind of female?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's so funny you say that, Ashlee. Before you came here, I was saying to Prince, I wonder if she'd get offended if I said she's like Howard Stern.
Dude, I would be honored.
No, damn it, Prince.
I knew it. I knew it. I had a feeling she was the 80s baby. Yeah, shout out.
No, because I'll tell you, Ashlee, that's what your podcast reminds me of. Like every day I was going to university, I'd always listen to Howard Stern going to university. And I had a long bus ride to university every day. So I listened to his podcast, or I listened to his radio show like twice, going there and coming back. And I'll tell you, that's what your podcast reminds me. It's like a modernized and it's got the MMA niche, which I love and which is really cool. And that's what it is. It's like that Howard Stern. And look where Howard Stern went. Look at his career. I totally see these things in your future. Like whatever you want to do, I feel like you're doing such a great job with this. And I congratulate you. Like you're so well spoken. The guests you get, they open up to you, like you said. It's fantastic. I mean, congratulations. And
actually, Ashlee Evans movie, like the Howard Stern movie. If you guys ever seen it?
That would be
yes.
so
There you go.
Sorry, allergies.
Oh man, guys. Honestly, I don't know where I'm gonna be in a few years. I don't know if I'm going to be making movies, doing podcasts. I've dipped my toes into a lot of different things over the pandemic. And one thing I like to talk to my guests about, if they are a fighter, is that we need to be thinking about our life post-fight career more often. And, it's a little too late for me, like I'm in my career, I am still wondering what I'm going to do, but like, any of the young fighters I have on, I like to tell them, not to big sister you or whatever, but what are you going to do after fighting? Let's think about that. Let's have a conversation. You don't have to decide right now, but let's get the wheels turning because, Dana White likes to say, this is not a career, right? This is an opportunity, whatever. And he's freaking right. The guy's strong-minded and opinionated, but he's got some points to it. It's not something you're going to do forever, but it's an amazing platform to build on. And what you build is up to you.
Wise words, Prince. And we will end with that. Ashlee, before we let you go, is there anything that you want to say or anything that you wanted to plug?
I'm very, very, very grateful for the work that all of you independent podcasters do. Holy crap, it's not as easy as it looks. I have ups and downs all the time. You telling me that it's one of the most popular, whatever, I need to hear that. It is, I'm not seeing anything monetary quite yet. But as long as I know people are listening and having, they're getting something from it, they're having fun, I'll keep doing it because it's something that I really, really enjoy and love. So you guys keep doing you, I'll keep doing me. We'll meet somewhere up here.
Jeez, that's what I'm talking about, baby. And watch out for the Ashlee Evans the fashion line also. That's gonna be coming out soon, and the movie. The big things pop. But Ashlee, I'm sorry, I've got high expectations from you right now. So.
I like it. I tend to rise to the occasion, so thank you.
There you go.
We can't wait to see you fight, Ashlee. Hopefully we can have you on here again one day. We really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. It was amazing.
Thanks, Ashlee.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Prince.
She's so nice.
What the heck? That was crazy, man. I feel like you went a little bit risque. I feel like I can't believe some of the things you said, but hey, when the guest brings it out of you, I guess that's what's going to happen. Really cool though, man. What a guest. Ashlee Evans-Smith. I'm telling you, that podcast is so good. She's totally going to parlay that into something.
Definitely.
It's really good.
She's and she's it's funny. It's just crazy because like a lot of the fighters that we've spoken to, everyone's so humble, like so nice, so down to earth, and like. And, we ask some of the questions and they take their time answering it too. And it comes from the heart. Like I find like every time they're on our podcast, like they're answering it from here, deep here. And they're like, it's funny because when they finish talking, you're sitting there, you're like, oh God, here we go. All right, here you go, Tim.
All right, Prince, we went way long. You did stay long. Okay. I think what we should do, what are we going to do? Let's talk about, let's skip the Mayweather, I guess. And let's go to UFC 263. We'll talk about Mayweather next time, because really, I just want to talk about some of the money stuff and things like that, which that will be a conversation that we can go on forever. So let's move on to, or we skip the fight on site. You want to skip the fight on site?
Yeah.
Let's skip the fight on site for this week. Let's go Mayweather versus Paul. What are some of your thoughts on this? And we'll talk about it again, but what did you think about the fight?
All right. Well, I mean, that wasn't what I was expecting. I thought someone was going to get knocked out. I wasn't expecting it to be a draw. I wasn't expecting it to be, at least someone last like Paul lasting the full round, right? I mean, I wasn't expecting for him to go the distance, and he did, and I thought he was going to get knocked out for sure. So I'm surprised that they came to a no contest draw agreement.
Okay, so I am, trying to get our name out there, Prince. I'm on Instagram like
Yeah.
a lot. I am in several heated battles with people because I'm saying if Mayweather could have taken him out, he would have taken him out. People hate me for saying that, but I'm saying, no, man, there's no way this guy wasn't going to let him last the 8 rounds if he didn't have to. Was he playing with him the first few rounds? Maybe. Right? Obviously, the guy had 30 pounds on him. He was bigger. The guy looked jacked. Okay, I don't want to get hit with a lucky shot, so I'm going to let him tire himself out. I'm going to duck and dodge and block, let him wear himself out a little bit, then I'll take him out. He doesn't take him out.
Yeah.
Do you think he didn't take him out because he couldn't, or do you think he didn't take him out because he didn't want to?
Well, listen, Tim, if anyone's picking a fight with you, you know whose side I'm on, right?
The other guy?
Timmy, come on, man. I'm on your side all the way, baby.
All right.
Hard work, dedication. But
no. But really, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, like I'm surprised that they came to a no contest agreement because Mayweather has knocked people out. Like he picked his shots. He made it go the distance. He made sure that people, maybe they learned from the last fight where, like, you know what, let's get it going. Let's go the distance and see what happens, right? But he could have just taken them out too. Like I honestly think that he could have picked his shots and KO'd them. Like Paul was in there. You saw the haymakers and everything.
Yeah.
Mayweather's been in those situations and be like, oh, okay, I could end this anytime, any day. But yeah, I actually agree with you. Mayweather could have taken him out whenever you wanted.
Wait, so you're saying he could have taken him out, but he chose not to?
Yeah, chose not to. Yeah.
See, I'm against you.
Oh.
I think he couldn't take him out because I think why the hell would you let this go on? I get it. I get that it's an exhibition. I get that it didn't matter to your record. I get that you're not technically 51-0 now. But I don't see that the guy's pride and self-worth I don't know what the word is, but pride, I guess.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have said, I'm going to knock this guy out. So I think he couldn't knock him out, which I'm saying is a credit to Paul because like the guy is training, the guy's working hard. He was in there. I think he couldn't take him out. So hate on me all you will, but I don't see why he would have let him go the distance. It just baffles my mind. Why would you let it go?
Yeah. Well, for any of the ones that were picking fights with you, listen, I got Timmy's back. But I mean, in regards to this convo, yeah, I don't know. It's just there's times where Mayweather's been in the thick of the people just going crazy, and literally he will find he's a counter puncher too. Like I mean, that's where he learned his defense, and then he's able to come back and do a counter. So I mean, there was points where Paul was gassing out. He could have just picked that one time. Okay, here your chin's right there.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, it was a surprise. Yeah, it was a surprising one. It was one of the one. I'm sorry.
We'll talk. No, sorry. We'll talk about the money aspect of the fight later. Okay, like on another podcast, we'll do that. I want to talk about that as soon as possible. Do you think that you're saying he let it go the 8 rounds? Do you think that he would have made less money if he didn't let it go the 8 rounds? Like, do you think there's some sort of, do you think there was some sort of financial reason that he would have let it go the 8 rounds? Is that in your...
maybe
Oh, sorry, you said a clause.
Yeah, maybe there's something written in on contract and say, hey, you know what? You got to let it go the first 3 rounds, and then you get the bonus too. So
no, but he let it go 8 rounds. So
8 rounds. So if he wrote it down and say, hey, you know what? Like, you gotta show us something, right? You gotta let us at least go the distance and let it be a draw. And for sure, Mayweather's not taking it out. His record is his life, man.
But if you let it go, here's the thing. If you let it go 8 rounds, you give Paul 8 rounds to get a lucky shot.
But I think that's how confident Mayweather was.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
to
All
like to
right.
say, hey, you know what? I know my defense. I've been doing this for decades, for so long that you know what? Anyone who's throwing a punch, I can already read off of it. He was probably like, taking his time with it too, right? So, and
All
did
right.
you heard that? You heard the announcement he made. He said that he wasn't going to step in the ring again. It was the last time you'll see him do it. What do you think?
All right, calm down. It's whether he retires first or Cher retires first. It's a battle to the end. I mean, these two guys are gonna. I mean, he'll just keep saying he's retiring, and then if you give a guy $100 million, I'm sure he'll put on the gloves again. I don't know, man. He didn't look bad. He did not look bad at all. So there is no way that he wouldn't be willing to take another fight for big money.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know about the Mayweather full beard and long hair look. He doesn't. I don't know.
Oh no, that was not good.
It wasn't good. I was like, oh man, no. What do you?
But he shaved it before the fight, so he was fine then.
No, but even the
one, promos. Yeah. All right, we'll talk about the money aspect later because I do want to talk about how much he got paid, and then there were a lot of comments. Back and forth. Oh, I forgot. I had a beautiful photo all lined up, and now I've been all rushed. So I'll quickly put this photo up just because I think it's cute.
Oh,
little box of Huggies.
That's cute. Huggies.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about UFC 263. We'll do this quickly. I know I had some messages where people were saying like, "Are you guys going to talk about UFC 263?"
Yeah.
Hey. We'll talk about the top 3 fights quickly now, I guess, in lieu of the fight on site. Prince, let's start at the bottom of the 3 and go up. So the first one is Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz, making his return for quite some time.
Yeah.
Fighting a very interesting fight against Leon Edwards. I did not think that this would be the fight that Nate would take on his return. Who do you got?
Listen, I think Nate was the one I picked for the vegan fight on site when we had that edition. And yeah, I did, guys. And if anyone hasn't seen that, watch that podcast, sick podcast. We've picked vegan fighters for that fight on site. But my pick would be Nate. Like Nate he goes the distance. I love that guy. I've just got so much respect for him now, and that he's gonna go the distance. I've been watching the Embedded as well, and yeah, I honestly think he's gonna take this fight. Like he's gonna win it. What do you think?
I'm just putting the photo up for a couple seconds. I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna go against you. I'm going with Leon Edwards. I think Leon Edwards is hungry. He's young. I think Nate has seen a lot of wars. I don't know the condition that Nate is coming in on. I just read a quote from him that says apparently he believes that win or lose, he's getting a title shot after this fight. That kind of mentality to me means that doesn't matter whether I win or lose, I'm going to get a title shot. He's never really seemed to care too much about titles in the past anyways, but I think Leon Edwards, man, I don't know. Nate did not look good in the BMF title fight, which was his last fight. He got cut pretty bad. I think that kind of scar tissue and stuff like that around the eye and forehead that he has a lot of, we know. I think Leon opens that up pretty early and gets a doctor stoppage. So I'm not even predicting a Leon Edwards win. I'm predicting a Leon Edwards by doctor stoppage win. That's
wow, so precise.
Very specific. Very specific. Next fight is the championship fight between Figueiredo and Moreno, the baby assassin baby. Who do you got on that one? This is part 2.
Yeah, part 2. I got Brandon all the way. I just like his work ethic. He's such a well-rounded fighter. Just watching some of his fights, even the first fight that they did together, like I thought, like he was doing well. I thought he took it. But yeah, I got Brandon. He's a young fighter. I think he's 27 years old. Really young. Like I've seen like some of his training videos now. Oh my gosh, this he's ready to go. And also Tim, he's an avid toy collector too.
Right.
Yes, right.
If you see on his videos, he loves pop caps and he loves his Lego.
He loves his Legos.
You would think that would mean that I'm going to pick him, Prince, but no.
No.
although I love his choice in extracurricular hobbies, I do like Figueiredo for this. I think that guy is really quite a monster of the division right now. I know that he had a great fight with Baby Assassin or Assassin Baby, but I don't think the champ's losing it on this one. I think Figueiredo is a little bit too high on himself right now. I think, again, I always like to think about the mental capacity. I think Figueiredo is very high on himself, very confident, very positive about his own abilities and his own technique. And I think this guy takes it. He is a monster.
Yeah, Figueiredo was even mentioned. He's he goes that Brandon's is a boxer. He goes, Mexicans love to box. That's what he mentioned, and he's like, yeah, but I'm well rounded. I've got jits. I've got everything working for me. So, but I honestly, I got my head going for Brandon. Brandon's gonna take this bad boy via choke submission.
All right. I'm saying Figueiredo takes it by knockout, TKO or KO. I think he's heavy-handed, and I think he takes him out this time.
Oh, okay.
Although, love them both. Main event title fight. We've got Marvin Vettori versus Adesanya. Prince, I know you're going to take.
Did you guess?
Adesanya.
Yeah, baby. Because listen, man, Israel. He is one. I feel like he's fighting for our generation because like he loves anime. He loves to strike. He loves he's very like. I just like how he moves. Like, I mean, he's very, lucid and he's very relaxed. He knows how to pick his strikes. Like, he's just nice to watch. He's just he's a slick fighter. Like, I love everything about him. And I want this guy to take it. I actually want him to go back to light heavyweight actually, and try it again. Just give it one more shot. Like, just. He even said it himself. It was like a side mission, but I think he should like keep pushing forward. Like,
Yeah, but you don't have to though. You don't have to. You've got plenty of guys in your own division. You have not cleaned house yet. There's plenty of guys coming up. I think Uriah Hall. Had he beaten Chris Weidman in a full match, I think Hall was gunning for that title shot, and I would love to see Uriah Hall versus Adesanya. That would be crazy. Talk about two anime characters. I mean, they'd just be throwing Hadoukens at each other from across the ring, man.
Or spinning back kicks, right?
Yeah, it would be amazing. I'm going with Vettori on this one. I think so. We are head to head on every fight, friends.
That's it.
We do not make this up. Vettori trains at King's MMA, which, as anybody that listens to this podcast knows, I visited there. Love those guys. Love what they do. If you listen to this podcast, I always think that gyms have a certain aura about them. Like, once some of their fighters start to win, all their other fighters start to win. And we've got Dariush at that gym who is on a streak. And I feel like that positivity and all that is going to translate over into Vettori. I think Vittori's a real dark horse. I mean, the odds have to be pretty bad. I would assume that you're going to win a lot of money if Vettori wins. But Adesanya's coming off a loss, the first loss ever of his career. He didn't look great against Jan. I feel like Vettori may be able to implement some of the same game plan against Adesanya. And I also don't know how Adesanya is going to bounce back after a loss, after his first loss in MMA, mind you. And I just feel like Vittori's got nothing to lose. I feel like he's not going to have a lot of pressure. It's not like he's going to have to hold back. That guy's going to go in guns blazing. He seems to always believe that he won that first fight between him and Adesanya, which was a split. I think Vettori, I think he's got a good team behind him. I think he's got a good positive mentality. I just like the guy. And I think if he wins, it would really tear up that division. Like, it would really just throw that whole division for a spin, because what the heck now? And so I'd like to see it. So I am predicting Vettori to win. I think if he does win, it's going to be by decision. So I'm going Vettori to go the long game. And
Vettori's got the whole weight of Italy on his back. Like, everyone's everyone is watching. His families are all watching. So I know that's going to be a lot of pressure on him. So, I mean, yeah, but Israel, he knows how to come back from adversity. He took his first L, but you know what? This is his domain. This is his area. This is where he reigns. I think he's gonna come out with a knockout. I honestly think so.
That said, and I don't want people to get mad at me, I understand that Adesanya has losses in kickboxing. So it's not like the first time he's ever lost in his professional career. I just think that in MMA, I don't know what's going to happen, and I feel like Vittoria's got a bit of an edge right now. So we shall see. I am normally 0 for 0. I'm normally 0% for all my picks, Prince, so I'm sure I got them all wrong. Let's do the fight on site quickly. We're only at 1 hour now.
Yeah.
I apologize. Let's skip the simulator. Let's just go with our picks. I do hear air in your background, though, if you have air, maybe. It's getting louder as we go, but that's okay. It's not horrible.
I'm trying to look around. I'm like, everything here is shot, man.
Hold on. It's still kind of there. Okay. Let's do our fight on site. We are doing a podcasters edition. So we are both going to pick podcasters and put them up against one another. I'm not going to talk too long about my guy, Prince, but I will go first if you do not mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
I am picking the great Matt the Terror Serra. This is the guy that beat GSP. I'm sure there's a lot of people that listen to our podcast that may not even know this guy because of how long ago it was that he fought, but he's the guy that beat GSP, shocked the world. He was a winner of one of the tough seasons that earned him that title shot. He is now currently the host of UFC Unfiltered, which is the official UFC podcast. He hosts it with Jim Norton. I don't want to, Ashlee was talking about podcast etiquette. I don't really like that podcast very much. I feel like it's a little bit too risque. His partner on there is Jimmy Norton, and his jokes get a little bit too adult for me. I don't know. I'm not a baby, but I just find that. But anyways, I am picking Matt Serra as my fighter as the podcaster edition. Prince.
Nice. Okay.
You have?
All right, guys. I'm actually throwing a little bit of a curveball.
Cheating a bit, but that's okay.
But you know what? Listen, it's gonna make it more interesting. So, guys, for my fight on site pick for podcast edition, I've got Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan.
Look at that.
Look at that, right? That side kick. What's it called? So what not a lot of people know is that Joe Rogan, he's a podcaster, but also a black belt in Taekwondo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, and he actually competed in Taekwondo. Actually, if you guys YouTube some of his clips of him fighting in a Taekwondo competition, he's knocked some people out. I'm even surprised he didn't try and go into the UFC and just trial like a small little mini fight and see what happens. But yeah, I've got Joe Rogan. He's and plus his jits also, he's so knowledgeable. The guy will sit down and break it down to you. So I got him taking Matt Serra out. I honestly feel like this Joe Rogan, if he was given the chance, he would come in there and finish the day, baby.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to lose on this one too. Anyways, we will... Guys, if this is your first time, we put these two fighters up head-to-head. They will be on our Instagram story on Saturday. So come on over before the fights. Vote for who you think is going to win. It's either going to be Matt Serra or Joe Rogan. Pick your fighter. If you know what you're doing, you're going to pick Matt Serra. So thank you very much. Prince, where can people find us if they want to find us? If this is your first time, let me get rid of the banner.
Perfect. So, guys, you can see our new layout over here. So you can find us at YouTube at Fight Inside Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Fight Inside Podcast. You can listen to us at Fight Inside Podcast and Spotify. And if you want to be a guest on the show, you can email us at fightinsidepod@gmail.com.
Thank you very much, Prince. We did a good job, man. Hey, I thought we were going to be way short on time, but we were able to manage to fly through those segments.
Yep.
I think we got most of the stuff out. I do want to say tomorrow on Friday, when this podcast drops, it's today. So on Friday, that is June 11th, Invicta has a one-night atomweight tournament, which is pretty cool. I love it when Invicta does that. They have 8 women tournament. They fight only for 1 round in the quarters and the semis, and then the finals is a 3-round fight. So you have to fight 3 times that night,
Oh,
and
wow.
they give bonuses and awards for if you finish your fight. So the girls are really motivated. That's cool, man. Check that out. I think that's on YouTube now. But I do want to announce that a fighter that we've been following, her name is Ramona Pascual. She is fighting at Icon Fighting Federation on Friday as well in Mexico. You can watch that fight on Fight Pass. We are a fan of hers, and we really hope that she will be on the podcast next week. So Ramona Pascual, we hope to see her next week. So that would be pretty cool, Prince. Another professional fighter. What else do we have? Anything else?
Hey guys, also, if we are going to be collecting orders for t-shirts, so if anyone is interested in a t-shirt, guys, put in your orders, email us, and we'll take orders in, and be ready to get ready for some giveaways. There'll be some giveaways coming out shortly, and so we're going to make announcements around there. And please watch our podcast, everybody. We've got, guys, so we just interviewed Ashlee Evans. We interviewed Mark Munoz last podcast, so come in and watch. Tim, I guess that's it. That's all I have to say.
All right, Prince, this was a great one, man. I can't believe we had Ashlee Evans-Smith. That was really cool. I'm very happy. Prince, we've been doing great. You know, this is episode 17, I think. And like I said, she just celebrated 52, like her 1-year anniversary. So I really hope that one day we get there, Prince. We will keep going. Guys, like Prince said, please do follow, subscribe, all that, and go steal someone's phone. Go steal your friend's phone. Subscribe to us on their phone as well. Grab your girlfriend's phone, grab your boyfriend's phone, whatever. Just follow us on there as well. We really appreciate it. We want to see those numbers rise. Prince, have a good one, buddy. UFC 263 will be exciting. Everybody cheer for Ramona tomorrow. And that's it, buddy. I think we're good.
All right, bud. You take care, Tim.
All right, man. Goodbye, Prince. Have a wonderful day.